rosa, ao peito na roda, eu bailei com quem calhou. Tantas voltas dei bailando que a rosa se desfolhou. Tantas voltas dei bailando que a rosa se desfolhou.
To take other classes that interested me. I had never felt so bad and mad. I wanted to cry. So if we think that it's having special education, segregated education is having a benign effect, we have to begin to talk to more of the students. It's a result of these legal developments and the advocacy of people with disabilities themselves that the UN decided in 2001 to create a committee to think about developing a treaty on the rights of people with disabilities specifically. One is that the convention specifically rejects what we call a medical model of disability and accepts instead a social model of disability. How many of you are familiar with medical model and social models? Just give me a sense. Yes, okay, most of you, right. So the medical model of disability looks at a person with a disability, said, you're the problem, we're going to treat you, we're going to cure you, we're going to deal with your problem. So the UN Convention rejected the medical model outright and accepted the social model of disability. And I'm often asked, well, into Article 24, when we wrote inclusive education system, what did it mean by inclusive education? So one answer is all the things I just talked about, all those other international law and documents that defined education, the Salamanca Statement. We look to those to get definitions of inclusive education. It says the government is required to provide an inclusive education system. But together with the rest of the convention, we now know that an inclusive education system means that the individual student has the right not to be turned down from a school, not to be discriminated against by a school, that the student seeking an education has the right to accommodations if he or she needs it because of the disability. This is about life and death for children, and without access to education, this is what can happen. Children can remain stagnant and living and dying in institutions. In the top picture on the top left is a child, I don't know if you can even see it, from Turkey who is in an institution there, who has Coke bottles tied to his hands. Why does he have Coke bottles tied to his hands? To prevent, exactly, self-abuse, right? Benevolent nurses, good staff, no other choices. In the bottom left, you can't see, there's just a young boy from Romania who's sitting in the corner of institution and was there for the 6 hours of our visit. And in Serbia, there's a young child whose bones have atrophied so that this child, we were told, is at least 12 years old who lives in a crib. So every child has the right to grow up in a family, not in an institution. Every child has the right to be educated. Okay, so what are the barriers? Barriers to these dreams that I have? Well, many, okay. Attitudes. I think attitudes are always the first barrier. Attitudes, I also think, can be changed with education, right? If a child can't learn, it is said, the way we teach, then maybe we should teach the way we learn. All kids, all the time, is really the answer, and I want to read you one.
Rosa ao peito na roda, eu bailei com quem calhou. Rosa ao peito na roda, eu bailei com quem calhou. Tantas voltas dei bailando que a rosa se desfolhou. Tantas voltas dei bailando que a rosa se desfolhou.